All right, Kola, you sent me a topic today, and I was really interested in it. And since you sent it to me, you've done some work on it, and I would like for us to discuss it. You sent me, I think, you know what? Tell me what brought the idea, what the idea is, and we take it from there.
So earlier today, I think I was listening to some videos on YouTube, some of the guys that I followed over the years. I was listening to Talk Sports, and there was
Hmm.
a conversation regarding how
Okay.
there's been a sharp decline in top class center forward strikers in the last decade or in the last 20 years. And it was Robbie Jennings and Adiola I can't remember his name. And it got me
Hmm.
thinking,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
is there actually a decline in strikers, or we've outsourced that role to somewhere else? That's essentially the first that came to my mind. Are we saying strikers, what we termed strikers 20 years ago, is not exactly gone? We just have different kind of strikers in the modern game. So I would like us to break it down. I have some information to back that up, and we can just get into the nitty-gritty of what that indicates in the modern game. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, that's a very interesting, and quite commonly I see on Twitter, TikTok, IG, where people argue about nostalgia and how the game has transitioned from the era where we had icons like the greatest of all times playing versus what we now have, as players who are just trying to be efficient and the magic of the game is actually gone. So I'll stick to the striker narrative. I think there's been a huge change, because the roles for strikers are somewhat evolved in like the past couple of years. In 2024, Madrid went an entire season without a number one striker, right? We had a makeshift with Jude crashing the box all the time. And that
Got 20
season,
goals.
he had a lot of goals. He was really involved. He scored over 20 goals. He had a very high output. And we went to win the La Liga and
And Champions League.
the UCL. So, in some sense, that would be one of the strongest arguments for the evolution of the role for strikers. But again, every big team, every top European team, they have strikers. In fact, they have very good strikers. Now, also, I think that the number of goals, the goal requirement for strikers have changed in a way because we now have every team seem to have very dynamic goal scoring wingers who crash the box and midfielders who crash the box who get goals. So in fact, when you speak of, for example, Vini, who is Real Madrid's traditional left winger, you judge him more about his goals and his assist, right? But if he goes, in fact, he just came off like a 16-game drought, not scoring,
They get
and
criticized.
that was a huge narrative that was a huge narrative that followed him for like the 2.5 months where he wasn't able to get goals. So I think the goal distribution responsibilities that's now been placed on the way football is now being played has made it so much so that if you are not Haaland, if you are not Kane, if you are not Lewandowski, we really do not judge you much about your goal output. Rather, we judge you on, are you pressing? We judge you on, do you have the link up play? We judge you on, are you tracking back?
I
You
disagree
know,
slightly.
and for team, in fact, I mean, we saw his statistics just last week. Okay,
So my disagreement is
not well, why do you disagree?
the strikers now are still judged on goals, but they're judged unfairly. And I'll break it down.
Okay, well, that's thank you. You call out me, sure. I didn't call out.
Sure, we like that go.
Well, thank you, pa.
Sure, Uncle. I don't think we started well anyway, so we might as well restart it. Can you hear me? Like everything is
Kilo
clear.
shele.
I don't know, bro. There's been a service call dropping. Don't tire me. With me, I tell you, on the phone for like 30 minutes. Think of call Shelly. I don't think we started well anyway, so we might as well restart it. Sure,
Okay,
boom.
all right. Yeah, yes, clear by.
Okay. My phone, no Wi-Fi, just my phone.
Okay, so o ti pa Wi-Fi ni abi.
No, Wi-Fi. No,
Àwọn
phone
ti
service can't drop me. in the
Oh,
basement here. I like to get Wi-Fi. I can't keep
okay,
it.
but you call it.
Yeah, and it's just disgusting. All right.
What disgusting.
Yeah, so annoying,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah,
let
stop
we'll,
recording.
no, we can
Stop the
start like
recording and
this.
start again.
We don't need to stop. I can cut in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you just need to start. We start the introduction again. You okay? They
Okay.
can be buried this time.
Yeah, you start.
Hi, Olu. How you doing, bro?
But I'm good, my bro. What's popping?
This is a very exciting topic for me in the sense that it's something that I've been particularly fascinated about, right? Every single one of us, or at least most of us, have been fascinated with goals all our life, right? When we're a little bit younger, we slide on the maybe not pavement because you're gonna destroy your knees, but we used to reminisce about sliding on the grass, placing a ball into the top right hand corner like Thierry Henry. That's something that we all dreamt about. But I was listening to a video on TalkSport today where Rory Jennings
Mm-hmm.
and his co-host, he's a Nigerian, Adeola Dipo or something. They were
Yeah,
breaking down.
I know.
Yeah, you know him, right? They were breaking down the
Mm-hmm.
dearth of top class strikers in the modern game. And the very first thing that occurred
Okay.
to me is what is the definition of a striker? Is a striker a goal scorer? Is a striker somebody who holds up the ball, contributes into the play? How do you define a striker? Because if the definition of a striker essentially is a goal scorer, we can't categorically
Okay.
say we don't have goal scorers in the modern game, right? So Mohamed Salah, one of the greatest goal scorers in Premier League history. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the
Amen.
greatest goal scorer in the league history and in football history. Both of them are
He's the
not your
greatest goal scorer ever.
yeah, they're not your traditional number nine. Cristiano Ronaldo has outscored Thierry Henry, is outscored Mohamed Salah, is outscored Kane, is
By a
outscored
lot.
Robert Lewandowski, is outscored the
By
greatest
so
player of all time in Lionel Messi. Is outscored what I know Rory was talking about Asset Bank, is outscored everybody. Same with Salah.
yes.
Heung-min
Mm-hmm.
Song, I'm looking at the stats now, a comparison of the top 10 goal scorers in the 2000s versus the top 10 goal scorers in the 2020s. Now, I'll give you the top 10 for 2000. So, in no particular order, Thierry
Okay.
Henry, Kane, Shearer, Mikel Owen, Frank Lampard, Van Nistelrooy, Jimmy Floyd Asselbank, Mark
Mm-hmm.
Viduka, Kevin Phillips, and Cristiano Ronaldo, right? The only
Is
anomaly
that in
on
the Premier
this,
League?
yes, just strictly Premier League. The only anomaly here is a midfielder, which is Frank Lampard. Frank
And
Lampard
Frank
was
Lampard.
notorious for what? For playing behind the striker, and the type of striker that he played
Yes.
with was Drogba, right? Who was so adept
Correct.
at setting up other players. Drogba
That's
only had
correct.
one 30-goal season in his entire career. The very first season Drogba came into the Premier League, he scored 10 league goals, if I'm not mistaken. So he wasn't particularly
Okay.
prolific. So Chelsea found the goals elsewhere. And what you also noticed in the early 2000s was the fact that there was a lot of 4-4-2s, right? Two striker system,
Mm-hmm.
two traditional wingers. Think about your Florence Malouda, think about your David Beckham, think about traditional wingers, left footer on the left, right footer on the right. They go to the byline, they whip the ball in, right? They're constantly crossing the ball. But now what you have is inside forwards, which you and I typically, I call them wing fielders or I call them wing strikers. What they do is they don't, when they get to the byline, they dribble or they cut back. There's a lot of cutbacks. So when you cut back, who are you
Yes.
cutting back to? Midfielders, right? Or they cut in and they shoot to score.
Or Mbappe, who is now occupying the number nine position.
Yeah, false nine. We've had Firmino. So what we've
Yes.
had is a tactical evolution, right? We had coaches who came into the game who tried to solve a problem. What problem did they solve? They tried to solve a problem that, okay, if everybody is playing this 4-4-2, what can I play that would
To
defeat
counter it.
4-4-2? Yeah, more or less. So they found a system that broke that mold and everybody copied. Everybody followed suit. So what happens when everybody follows suit? It means coaches, the modern day coaches, are looking for different kind of players, right? Mourinho evolved the system from a traditional 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3 kind of 4-5-1 with one center forward. So
Yes.
one center forward in the modern game, you can 90% of teams plays with one center forward now. So
That's
you're
right.
asking one person
If
to do the
you
job
already
of
see
two people. right?
Yes.
What does that mean? Only the most outstanding finishers are gonna survive at the top level.
Yes.
Your Harry Kane, your Robert Lewandowski, your
Yep.
Wayne Rooney, your
Your
who else?
Haaland.
Alan, Sergio Aguero, and even them, they had their own struggles, right? It's
Yes.
easier to mark if I know I have only one center forward in front of me. But what we've done, and I know I've gone on this elongated conversation, is that we've outsourced the goals to the wingers, right? Everybody wants to be a Ronaldo or a Messi, right? Because those two players change the game, change the way we view the game, because they're actually players who traditionally plays on the flanks, especially in the earlier part of their career, and they scored insane amounts of goals, right? Then we had the Mo Salahs, then we had the Heung-min Son. Now we have Rafinha. Rafinha scored about almost 40 goals last season, right? We had Marcus Rashford in the Premier League. He had a 30 goal season. So we've had several wingers, which we never had in the past, having 30 goal season.
Yes.
So in the early 2000, late is what you have as wingers. You score 10 goals, 10 assists. You're an incredible winger.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
if
a
you
great
score,
season for you.
yeah, if you score 10 goals and you have 10 assists, just to back that point up for the wingers, for the 2020, these are the top scorers in the Premier League. Mohamed Salah, Harry
Good.
Kane, Erling Haaland, Heung-min Son, Ollie Watkins, Chris Wood. That sounds like an anomaly. Jamie Vardy, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Phil Foden. So on this list, you have how many strikers, traditional number nines? And you can Harry Kane is not even
Maybe
the
two
most
or three.
traditional number nine. Yeah. Harry Kane, Erling
Yeah.
Haaland, Ollie Watkins, Chris Wood, Jamie Vardy. So 5 out of 10
That's
top
it.
goal scorers in the 2020s are not center forwards. Salah, Foden. Foden is a
Yes.
midfielder. Marcus Rashford, a winger. So the game
Yep.
has evolved, and these guys are still scoring a lot of goals. They're scoring goals that are
So the question I
comparable
have for you
to
is this.
Arsenal.
The question I have for you is this. What would we attribute this to? Is it the tactical shift that's occurred where teams now move? So wingers are now attacking the box, right?
Correct.
And, I remember that in the early 2000s, early 30s, the goals that were the most important to us were scored by heading the ball into the net.
Yeah, a lot of headers.
Example goes to in the UCL final against Chelsea in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
2012,
Maybe
Drogba,
Drogba.
90, 88 minutes or something, scored the header against Bayern. These days, one of the things that I notice very well is that if you're not Harry Kane, if you're not Lewandowski, I don't see a lot of square plays into the box 18
It's
and
less
the striker
crosses.
gets into the end of it.
Yeah,
It's less crosses. So the way the game is played right now even makes it very difficult for the traditional number nines to attack the boxing team constantly. In the days where we were growing, where we watched football, you constantly see strikers occupying that position where those two center backs, they are never at rest. These days, because teams want to play from the back, they want to
stretch the play.
possess the ball, stretch the field. They involve their center backs in the gameplay. That's not something we used to have before. Some teams did it, but not to this level of popularity. Some teams, they are ball playing defenders, but these days it's almost a requirement that every center back knows how to play the ball with their feet. If you
Correct.
don't, some things would not
They will
even
even consider
regard
you.
you to be, they won't consider you. So the fact that teams can now have their center backs play makes it a little difficult for the strikers because now the work that our traditional strikers didn't need to do back then, now you have to do it. I remember PSG last season, one of the reasons they won the UCL was that everybody on that front line
Defend.
was a threat at defending, at pressing. When you watch Dembele, when it was deployed as a number nine, can you even imagine deploying Usman Dembele as a number nine?
A player of that
is a
talent.
scary is a scary proposition to even think that he won the UCL, the Ballon d'Or, the FIFA best, playing, at the tail end of the season, playing as a number nine who has the ability to run constantly. He's a two-footed player. He's a player who can score with his right and left. He's ambidextrous, and that player occupies the position number 9, where he constantly presses the goalkeeper, the two centre backs, and the team follows him.
So is
I
Dembele
don't
not a
remember a
striker
striker.
in this
He's not a
system now?
traditional number 9.
Yeah, yeah, but
No, I'm saying he's not a traditional number 9.
he's a goal scorer now.
Oh yeah.
Dembele's
But he's
number
not a
is
traditional number 9 in the sense that you have him. He was deployed as that last season.
yeah, but
But
my
when you
point,
say who are the traditional number 9s, he's not
let's
one of
stick to
them.
that point. The point is
Okay?
what a striker is in the 2000 is different from what a striker is now, especially.
Absolutely agree.
So when we have this conversation, the conversation needs to change from, oh, we don't have strikers anymore, to no, we have goal scorers. Because at the end of the day, what we expect from strikers in the 2000s is to score goals.
That's true.
So we've
That's true.
outsourced the goal somewhere else.
But it's not just about scoring goals. It's about the way they score goals too.
Game has changed though.
So the way they score goals is one of the reasons why we feel the nostalgic effects in our brains. So, for example, when you see Totti, I said Totti. When you see Shevchenko, when you see Drogba, when you see Louis Saha, when you see Thierry Henry, when they occupy the number 9 position, when I see Drogba at Chelsea being physical, occupying a I remember Fernando Torres against Man U, where I'm saying the way they scored those goals is also one of the reasons why we feel like we are missing out on the mode of those traditional strikers that played when we were watching them. But nowadays, when you see Dembele score a goal. In fact, against Arsenal last season, when Dembele scored, was he against Arsenal or I think he scored against Arsenal, right? Yeah.
You did.
Teams are now sitting. In fact, another thing that goes into why all of this is this way is that a lot of teams now sit deep. When they sit deep, it makes it so hard for the striker to be a striker when your wingers aren't going to cross into the box.
I
Okay?
don't even think
At
teams are
Madrid.
sitting deep. I think the way we play now means because
Mm-hmm.
if you have Lamine Yamal on the right and you have
Yep.
another inside forward on the left, as an example,
Rafinha.
yeah, Lamine Yamal is not going to the byline and squaring the ball across the box. Saka is not going to the
Yeah, because he can
byline.
dribble you.
No, they're gonna the type of cutbacks. They
But
do a lot of cutbacks, which it
yes,
doesn't favor strikers.
they try to dribble into the field. So
Yeah,
do you remember the square play from West Brown in the in the 2008 UCL final
yep,
to Ronaldo that scored that made them go one goal up? That was a traditional way of scoring goals
a lot of
in those
crosses.
days.
Yeah,
A lot of crosses, get the ball, pum.
get to the
But
byline,
these
cross.
days, yes, that byline was the it typified the way assists were generated in those days. These days,
The gap
when you see most of
between in front of the 6 yard box between the goalkeeper and the centre back. That is where a striker
exactly,
operates. Nobody crosses
yes,
there anymore.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Even if Dembele scores 22 goals playing the number 9 role. The way he scores those goals does not reinvigorate us to feel like he was a striker we feel nostalgic about. Now, some of Haaland's goals, Harry Kane, Lewandowski, in fact, I think those three are a dying breed of strikers that we used to love when we were growing up.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. And I
And
also
in
have some
fact,
data.
another one we can also mention is Victor Osimhen.
Yeah,
Osimhen
they're
too plays
dying
like
breed.
that.
Yeah,
Physicality,
they're
occupy your
dying breed.
defenders, be physical. Yes, they are a dying breed of
Most teams are not looking for those players, right? And if they're not looking for those
yes.
players, it means the academy, and this is something that very important, right? The
And I don't even
academy.
think many of them existed. I don't even think many of them exist anymore.
No, it's need. It's market demand. If you're not demanding for these players, if you go into an academy today, everybody wants to be an inside forward.
And you know what? In fact, coming back to us now, I think this might be one of the reasons why your striker, Gyökeres, might be struggling. You guys are a football playing team.
Yeah.
He is a physical striker that just wants to go rugged and ram anything, not balls, get into duels. But now coming to the Premier League, coming to Arsenal to be specific, means you have to play ball with your feet.
There's no
You have,
space.
like, bro, there's no
Where is
space.
the
And you
space?
see, when people like what is these strikers, this AC Milan legend,
Whoa.
Inzaghi,
Hmm.
bro, those guys, they take one or two touches and score. Van Nistelrooy, 1, 2 touches, that's
Yeah,
it,
and
goal.
there's no VAR
This
there.
now you have to play. You
Do you know how
have
many
to
times
play
Inzaghi is going to
with your
be
feet.
offside now?
In fact, I watched a video recently where Peter Cech was saying if there was VAR when
Crespo.
Hernan Crespo, yes, oh, you saw the video too, that he would have had like maybe 50 more goals, that his timing was also always perfect.
But
But because
Crespo will
they
struggle
feel like,
now as
that's
a
my
lone
point.
striker.
I'm saying
He's
to
going to
you that,
struggle.
yes, I'm saying to you that the way those players played is why I think Rory feels like like the way they scored those goals. It's every one of us, we are nostalgic. The things we grew up with, although sometimes may be better than the way they are right now, but those memories, they stay with us for so long that we feel like when we don't see them right now, we feel like something is missing. It's not that's it's just
I
evolved.
don't have the stats in front of me, but I can say,
Mhm.
based on just tribal knowledge, there is no winger from the 2000s or early 90s that scores 30 goals.
That's
None.
that's not even thought of. That you don't
Exactly
understand.
my
That's not
point.
even thought of.
So when we have this
In fact,
conversation,
the midfielders, the midfielders at that time, they are so primed to not even think of. I don't want to say
if,
think of scoring goals
if you score
because
5 goals as a
a couple of them.
midfielder, you've done a great job.
Yes, and that was it. And that was it. Because at that time, you have two strikers who are going to combine for maybe one gives you 14, the other gives you 19. And that's a very
Max.
successful season. And the game wasn't as free flowing and speedy as it is right now, where there'd be more. In fact, that'd be a very good start to see. How many goals were scored in the 1990s? How many goals were scored in the 2000s, 2010? My hunch would be that more goals are scored now than then. Bro, the output, the amount of goal. Bro, we are bashing Mbappe at Madrid and he scored 50
50
goals
goals
last
every
season.
season. Yeah. No striker from the 2000 is scoring 50 goals.
Yeah, we are bashing Mbappe right now and bro is on like 30 goals.
No
So
striker
the
from the
sheer,
2000 in the Premier League, apart from maybe Thierry Henry and Alan Shearer, is going to outscore Mo Salah.
that's the point.
So,
So like,
see, that's what I'm
again,
saying. We need
you
to differentiate between centre forward strikers and goal scorers because goal scorers in the game hasn't changed. People are still scoring a shit ton of goals. There are people who
in fact,
have scored
they are scoring more
more
goals.
goals. Yeah. 15 goals as a centre forward in the
Yeah,
Premier
they are
League in the
scoring more
2000
goals.
is a great season.
Yeah, so my response to Rory would be that, bro, if you are saying these strikers gave you a nostalgic feeling, I agree with you. But what you should also put into that equation immediately is that the wingers that we have right now, they are giving you something you never had then. Bro, when I'm watching Florence Maluda or I'm watching Ramirez, I'm not even thinking of him. It's
Give me
Bro,
goals. No.
I've never in my life
It's a
thought
bonus.
he would score
Be
10
cheap
goals.
against
It
Barcelona.
doesn't even come to your brain. Yeah, it doesn't even come to your brain. So I think Messi and Ronaldo might be the two greatest evolutionary forces we've had in football. Because the way we now see football and the way we now consume it and the way it's shaped our expectations for delivery, goal scoring has changed. Bro,
And I think it's
we
the
now
fans,
have
bro.
very little. Bro, we now have strikers.
I don't think we have very
Bro,
little expectation of strikers. We just expect
when I
wingers to
mean
score
strikers,
more.
so you can't have both at the same time. So if you're
Yeah.
expecting Vinicius Junior to give you, if you're expecting Vinicius Junior to give you 20 goals, you're expecting Rodrigo to give you 20 goals.
then you're a moron.
If there's a traditional number 9 there, he's only getting maybe the 16. If that striker is not Mbappe, no, you can't have this one can score 20, this score 20, and this one will score 40.
Think about it this way: the two striker system has been replaced by the three forward system essentially, because most people play with a three in attack.
Exactly.
So if your two
Yes.
strikers are getting between 25 to 30 league goals, right? That means your three forwards should get between 25 to 30 goals.
That's
Essentially,
correct.
that's what it means. So if you have you create a system, I'm talking league. I'm talking about all competitions, right? If Saka gives you
Mm-hmm.
10 league goals, 10 league assists, that is a very good season.
Yes.
The winger,
Yes.
right? Your center forward, if he gives you 15 goals and maybe 5 assists, that is a very good season. Your other winger, if he can give you eight
Yes.
goals, 7 assists, that is why
Yes.
most coaches
Just
are not.
look at the goal distribution for Barcelona last season. Rafinha was the highest goal scorer on their team.
Are you sure? I think it was
Guess who was
Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski was there.
Rafinha? By
I think he scored 40 goals last
half,
season.
wait, he had more goals than. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. I think
in all
you
comps.
might be right. Oh,
Yeah, he had more goals. He was second behind. Barcelona scored a lot of goals, bro.
yes. So now see something. See something here. Rory has never seen that combination before because you have a prototypical striker in Lewandowski who scores a lot of goals too. And guess what? The goals Lewandowski scored last season, they were some of the easiest goals he had ever scored in his
Yeah,
life
yeah.
because you
A
have
lot of
two
tappings.
outstanding creators, Rafinha and
Yamal.
Lamine. Bro, those guys create for you non-stop. And when they do, they also score goals too. You've never seen Lamine Yamal and Rafinha in your nostalgia. Those guys have never existed in
In,
2000s. Bro, I can't
they don't
even go
exist.
to Cinco. I'm trying to, let's not, before we
They don't exist.
overspeak, and I'm trying to remember now.
Zola didn't do that. Beck didn't do that. Robert Pires won
They didn't
the player of
exist.
the I think he won the player of the year 2000 or 2001. He didn't do that. But no winger is getting 30 goals,
Yeah,
20 assists. It's not possible in the
man.
2000s, the
So
1990s. No,
while I appreciate the nostalgia, let's calm down. The things we are seeing right now, you've never seen a Lamine Yamal. You've never seen a Rafinha.
no.
You've never seen a Vinny Jr.
You've never seen a
You've never
Salah.
seen you've never seen a Salah.
No, in the
You
history of
understand?
Premier League.
If Saka had high, in fact, if Saka had high goal contribution like production, you've probably never seen a Saka
Saka's
too.
goal production is better than 99.9999% of wingers from the 2000 and late 90s.
Yeah. In fact, you know what?
So
Without even going, let's go look for those wingers from the 2000s. So again,
Ryan
you might
Giggs,
not see.
David Beckham,
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Robert
So
Pires.
so I think what happens is that these people they are so present in our consciousness. And I think we get to a point where we elevate their popularity in our minds to a point where we also simultaneously elevate what they did. Now they are legends, but where the game is at today, when Lamine Yamal goes to that field, when Dembele goes on that field, I agree. There are a lot of players who are better than Dembele, Lamine Yamal all time.
There are not a lot of players
But
that are better
those
than them.
guys, no. I'm just saying those guys are just as unique as any player you've ever seen in your life. So it's
Dembele
okay
scored
to be nostalgic about the 90s and the 2000s. Those are the goats. They are goats.
in
Even
their own right.
one of our goats, now Dino,
How many
wasn't
goals?
producing raw numbers
12
as
goals a
these
season.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronaldinho will give you an average of 12 to 15 goals a season, maybe another 10 to 15 assists. But these guys, the raw output,
They are the
no,
strikers. No,
it's not
they are the
close.
strikers.
Ronaldinho's flair, and the way he made us fall in love with is all like, bro, we appreciate it, we understand it, but Rafinha is just as unique. Rafinha last
Yep.
season is just as unique as whatever you saw with Ronaldinho based on sheer output. Lamine Yamal is
The
just
game
as
is
unique.
the game is faster. People are working
It's
better on their
faster,
diets. The football is
bro.
faster. There's VAR.
People are
You
more
can't,
technical.
you can't tackle as you used to tackle
Oh
before.
no, no, maybe not more technical. Sorry, that was probably let me not say more technical.
No, I don't think they're
More
more technical.
technical can
It's the same level of technicality. It's just too fast. There's so much pressing. There's so
yes,
much running,
yeah.
right? They're
There's a
better
lot of
coached.
things that makes these guys unique.
Yeah, so I think we should leave it there. Just something that I think that we need to approach from a different perspective, from a different angle, and not constantly say
Yeah.
there are no more strikers in the modern game. No, they're strikers. We've outsourced our goals. We've outsourced our goals to our wingers and our attacking midfielders. Bruno Fernandes,
In fact,
statistically,
I think your conclusion there is the correct one. We've outsourced it. We've
but
outsourced it.
I would like the subscribers. I know we don't have a lot of subscribers, but guys, subscribe, like the content, and
We
comment in
have
the comment
nine. We have
section.
9.
We want your perspectives. Give us your perspective. It's very
Yeah.
important to keep this
Yeah.
motion going. We're gonna try to give you more content as we find more time to do this. But thank you so much for coming here and stay blessed. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.